Have you ever wondered what makes some leaders unstoppable, able to command respect and succeed in almost any situation, while others struggle to get noticed or gain traction? What if I told you that some of the most successful people in history have followed a set of principles that have stood the test of time, shaping their ability to lead, influence, and thrive? We're talking about strategies from a man who, centuries ago, cracked the code on leadership, Niccolò Machiavelli. And no, I'm not talking about using manipulation or deceit, but powerful, practical strategies that are more relevant today than ever before. In today's video, we're diving into Machiavelli's The Prince and uncovering how his wisdom on perception, decisiveness, and balancing fear and love can be applied to your everyday life. Whether you're leading a team, managing your career, or simply trying to build respect with the people around you, these timeless lessons are exactly what you need to unlock your full potential. What if you could start making quicker decisions, command respect effortlessly, and never feel uncertain about how to lead again? This isn't theory, this is actionable advice that will elevate you in any situation. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have Machiavelli's best-kept secrets in your pocket. But before we jump in, make sure to hit that like button if you're ready to level up and share this with anyone who could use a little extra guidance in their leadership journey. And if you're loving what you're hearing, show some support by clicking the super thanks button down below so we can keep creating content that helps you grow. Let's get started. Niccolò Machiavelli was an influential figure whose ideas have transcended time, continuing to shape modern thought and strategy. Born in Florence, Italy, in 1469, Machiavelli was a diplomat, philosopher, historian, and writer who lived during the Renaissance. His most well-known work, The Prince, remains a pivotal piece in the field of political philosophy. It's a book that separates itself from traditional moralistic writings on politics by focusing on what actually works in governance rather than what should ideally work. Machiavelli's view of leadership, power, and human nature was grounded in pragmatism and realism, making his teachings relevant to this day. Machiavelli's life in Florence was marked by a time of political turbulence, with constant shifts in power, intrigue, and betrayal among the city-states of Italy. His position as a civil servant and diplomat gave him insight into the nature of power dynamics, especially when dealing with shifting allegiances. His observations about power, governance, and human nature were not born from lofty ideals, but from the real political realities of his time. This realism is what set Machiavelli apart from many other philosophers. While figures like Plato or Aristotle believed in the ideal forms of governance or virtue, Machiavelli was more concerned with how power actually works and how rulers could maintain it. This clear distinction was revolutionary during his time. Machiavelli's most famous work, The Prince, is essentially a manual for rulers on how to secure and maintain power. He introduced many groundbreaking ideas, including the concept of virtue, which is not about moral goodness, but about the ability to adapt, seize opportunities, and act decisively. This concept was coupled with fortuna, or luck, which Machiavelli saw as unpredictable and outside a ruler's control. The challenge, according to Machiavelli, was for rulers to recognize and make the most of fortune's unpredictability while relying on their own virtue to influence events and maintain control. In simple terms, The Prince is about the effectiveness of a leader, emphasizing results over idealism. Machiavelli's impact on political philosophy was profound, and his ideas influenced thinkers long after his time. The Prince has been considered a seminal work in understanding realpolitik, the politics of pragmatism, power, and practicality. His views on leadership and power dynamics are just as relevant today as they were during the Renaissance, particularly when we look at how these ideas apply to modern leadership, personal development, and social interactions. Machiavelli's ideas go beyond politics. They offer a framework for gaining respect and influence in any domain of life. One of the key takeaways from Machiavelli's teachings is his focus on the power of perception. He understood that how people perceive you is often more important than what you truly are. This is especially relevant today in an era where social media and public image shape much of how people interact with one another. For instance, someone may not be the most skilled or even the most honest, but if they present themselves with confidence, wisdom, and an image of success, they can command respect. The same applies to leaders today, whether in business, politics, or social spheres, who understand that creating the right public image can be just as crucial as the qualities they possess behind closed doors. Take, for example, the world of social media influencers. There are countless individuals who may not necessarily possess any extraordinary talents, but have successfully crafted an image that resonates with their followers. Their followers respect them, not necessarily because of their raw abilities, but because of the perception they've carefully curated. This concept of managing perception is central to Machiavelli's teachings, and it's something that can be applied not only in the public sphere, but in personal relationships as well. In terms of leadership, Machiavelli's influence can be seen in modern corporate environments. Many successful CEOs, for example, use principles that echo Machiavellian thought. They understand that maintaining power, whether in a corporate hierarchy or in a political office, requires adaptability, decisiveness, and a deep understanding of human nature. Take the case of Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, who built an empire on an approach that emphasized the relentless pursuit of opportunities while remaining adaptable to market changes. His leadership style wasn't about perfect ethical conduct. It was about recognizing the need to take risks and making bold, decisive moves in a constantly shifting business environment. Machiavelli's principles also extend to personal development and self-improvement. His emphasis on virtue, being capable, adaptable, and prepared, speaks directly to anyone seeking to improve their own skills or career. A person striving for success can adopt the mindset of a leader who acts with purpose, makes tough decisions, and remains resilient in the face of challenges. This is evident in the modern self-help movement, where individuals are encouraged to take control of their lives by making clear decisions, adapting to changing circumstances, and maintaining focus on their goals. Machiavelli's ideas about leadership are not just for politicians, but are universal principles that can help anyone looking to advance in their career, improve their social standing, or gain the respect of others. Moreover, Machiavelli's teachings on the balance between fear and love continue to have practical applications in leadership. In his writings, he suggests that a ruler who is both feared and loved will have the best chance of success. But if one must be either feared or loved, it is safer to be feared. The modern interpretation of this can be seen in leaders who understand the importance of setting boundaries and holding firm to their principles. Leaders who are too lenient or overly reliant on the affection of their teams may lose respect, as others may perceive them as weak or indecisive. However, a leader who can command respect through strength and decisiveness, while still showing fairness and compassion when needed, can maintain control and foster loyalty. This concept is crucial not only in professional settings, but also in personal relationships. Just as a leader must balance affection with authority, individuals in personal relationships must find the right mix of kindness and firmness. This balance is important in setting boundaries and ensuring that respect is maintained. For instance, a parent who is overly permissive with their children may be liked but not respected. On the other hand, a parent who is too authoritarian may generate fear without fostering a genuine connection. Machiavelli's principle of balancing love and fear can be seen in how parents, mentors, and leaders strike this delicate balance. Furthermore, Machiavelli's emphasis on adaptability speaks to how modern leaders must remain flexible in the face of challenges. In today's world, where technological advancements and global events can disrupt entire industries overnight, a rigid leader who refuses to change is often left behind. Leaders today, much like Machiavelli advised, must be ready to shift strategies when necessary. A clear example of this in modern business is how companies like Netflix transitioned from being a DVD rental service to an online streaming giant, successfully adapting to the digital revolution. The flexibility to change when necessary is a powerful tool in maintaining relevance and respect. Ultimately, the core teachings of Machiavelli remain highly applicable to the complexities of modern life. His ideas about the nature of power, leadership, and respect are not just historical artifacts, but actionable principles that can be used to navigate the challenges of today's world. From crafting a strong public image to making bold decisions, maintaining authority, and adapting to changing circumstances, Machiavelli's insights into human behavior continue to guide those who seek to lead and influence others. In the fast-paced, often unpredictable modern world, his teachings offer a roadmap for achieving lasting respect and success, both in the professional realm and in personal interactions. Whether one agrees with all of his ideas or not, Machiavelli's understanding of power dynamics and his approach to leadership provide valuable lessons that have stood the test of time. Niccolò Machiavelli's teachings on perception hold a timeless significance, particularly in today's world where image and public persona often determine success and respect more than the actual reality of one's abilities. In his famous work, The Prince, Machiavelli stated, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." This line captures a fundamental truth. How others perceive you can shape the trajectory of your life far more than who you truly are or what you have accomplished. In modern society, where social media, professional relationships, and public interactions are essential to one's success, the power of perception cannot be overstated. Machiavelli's observation isn't about promoting falsehood or deception, but rather about recognizing the impact that appearances have on a person's standing in society. Human beings, by nature, are driven by how things seem rather than by what they actually are. This is especially true in a world where first impressions often form the basis for long-term relationships, whether in the workplace, in personal life, or in social settings. In fact, many leaders, from CEOs to politicians, understand this well, which is why they spend considerable time crafting and curating their public image. The reality of their abilities might be far different, but as long as they project the right perception, they are able to command respect and influence. Take the example of Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple. Jobs was known for his charismatic presentations and his ability to communicate vision with great confidence. While there were certainly moments when his management style came under scrutiny, his ability to project a confident, almost visionary image played a huge role in maintaining his status and influence. People were willing to follow him not because they always understood the intricacies of his business acumen, but because he projected an image of someone who was in control, knowledgeable, and certain of his path forward. It didn't matter if people weren't privy to the behind-the-scenes struggles. The public perception was enough to rally support. In the realm of business and leadership, perception is key. Projecting confidence, for instance, can make an enormous difference, even when one feels unsure or lacks all the answers. The act of appearing confident can influence others to believe in you, which then strengthens your position. Think about a leader in the workplace who may not have all the technical knowledge in a particular area, but who consistently communicates with confidence and decisiveness. That leader will often be viewed as competent, even if there are gaps in their knowledge. People are far more likely to trust a confident person than someone who constantly appears unsure or indecisive. This is where Machiavelli's principle becomes clear. To gain respect, one must act with the perception of control and certainty, even if that confidence is only an exterior. Confidence, however, is not just about appearing self-assured in your speech or posture. It's about your ability to take charge and make decisions, even in uncertain situations. When someone maintains a composed and assured demeanor, they signal that they can handle whatever comes their way. This is particularly crucial in leadership roles. If a leader appears flustered or anxious, those around them will begin to question their ability to lead, regardless of their actual capability. Confidence, as Machiavelli suggests, is not merely a facade, but a necessary component of leadership that can influence the perception of your competence. in addition to projecting confidence. Machiavelli advocates the importance of showing virtue. In the context of leadership and personal relationships, virtue goes beyond traditional moral values. It's about projecting qualities like fairness, honesty, and courage, which are traits that people respect. Appearing to be virtuous can open doors and strengthen relationships. If people believe that you are fair and just, they will respect you more, and in many cases, they will follow you. However, Machiavelli is clear that virtue should not be pursued for the sake of appearing good, but for the sake of shaping your image as someone people want to trust and follow. Take the example of political leaders who cultivate the perception of honesty and integrity. Even if these leaders are not always as virtuous as they seem, the image they project can often be enough to win over support. People like Nelson Mandela, for instance, gained widespread respect not just for his actions, but for his consistent projection of fairness, humility, and virtue. His commitment to peace and justice, even in the face of immense personal sacrifice, made him an enduring symbol of virtue. While it's essential to act in line with virtue, Machiavelli understood that projecting virtue can be just as powerful in gaining respect and maintaining influence. Machiavelli's thoughts on managing emotions are also pivotal in understanding how perception plays a crucial role in gaining respect. In the face of adversity or when under pressure, the ability to control one's emotions is a sign of strength and wisdom. People respect individuals who remain calm in difficult situations, as it shows they can manage stress and make rational decisions under pressure. The opposite, of course, is true as well. Those who are easily rattled or visibly shaken by stress often lose credibility and respect. When leaders or anyone in a position of influence can maintain composure and not let emotions drive their decisions, it cultivates an image of stability and reliability. For instance, consider a situation in which a manager faces a crisis at work, such as a critical product failing or an important deadline being missed. The manager who remains calm, takes charge of the situation, and works towards a solution without panic is more likely to maintain the respect of their team. On the other hand, a manager who panics or reacts emotionally will likely see their credibility crumble. The key is not to suppress emotions entirely, but to master them in such a way that they do not negatively influence decision-making. This is where the control of one's emotions becomes a tool for maintaining a strong public perception of competence. Another crucial aspect of managing your image is consistency. As Machiavelli teaches, your actions must consistently align with the image you want to project. People respect individuals who are predictable in their behavior and consistent in their actions. If your actions don't align with the image you want to project, people will begin to doubt your authenticity, which in turn diminishes your influence. Consistency is key in both personal and professional contexts. For example, in the workplace, a leader who consistently follows through on promises, maintains transparency, and treats employees fairly will build a reputation for reliability. Over time, this consistency becomes part of the individual's identity, shaping how they are perceived by others. The importance of surrounding yourself with respected individuals also plays into Machiavelli's thoughts on managing your image. In both personal and professional spheres, people tend to associate with those who have strong reputations. Building relationships with people who are themselves respected can elevate your own standing. This is a common practice in the corporate world, where high-level executives often build alliances with other powerful figures to enhance their own credibility. The image of being surrounded by respected individuals naturally lends credibility to one's own position. It's not just about who you know, but how your associations reflect on you. In today's interconnected world, managing relationships and crafting a positive image is as crucial as ever. Whether on social media, in a professional setting, or in day-to-day interactions, perception often determines the opportunities and respect you gain. People are drawn to those who seem confident, virtuous, emotionally intelligent, and consistent. These traits can be learned, refined, and projected over time to shape the way others see you. However, just as Machiavelli advises, it's important to be mindful that these perceptions are based on reality. The more you align your actions with the image you project, the more genuine your influence will be. Ultimately, Machiavelli's teachings on perception are not about manipulating or deceiving others, but about understanding the powerful role that perception plays in human interactions. Perception shapes how others treat you, how you are respected, and the opportunities that come your way. By consciously managing your image through confidence, virtue, emotional control, consistency, and building strong relationships, you can create a persona that earns you the respect and influence necessary for success in all areas of life. Niccolò Machiavelli's perspective on decision-making is rooted in his belief that success in leadership and life depends not only on the ability to make the right choices, but on the speed and confide, NCE, with which those decisions are executed. He famously wrote, "Prudence is not in avoiding danger, it's impossible, but calculating risk and acting decisively." In this statement, Machiavelli asserts that avoiding risk entirely is an illusion. In the real world, there will always be uncertainty and danger, and leaders must navigate these challenges by making calculated decisions with confidence rather than hesitation. The essence of his teaching lies in the understanding that taking decisive action despite the inherent risks marks the difference between a leader who commands respect and one who falters in the face of adversity. Machiavelli's view on decision-making speaks to the core of leadership. A leader who hesitates, overanalyzes, or dithers in making decisions projects weakness. On the other hand, a leader who makes quick, confident decisions despite the risks projects strength and capability. This decisiveness is not just about the outcome of the decision, but about the act of choosing a course of action, moving forward, and showing the ability to take charge in uncertain circumstances. The willingness to act decisively conveys to others that a leader is capable, self-assured, and in control of their situation, which in turn earns respect. In today's fast-paced world, where businesses, governments, and individuals face complex and ever-changing challenges, the ability to make decisions quickly and with confidence has never been more important. Think about the example of Steve Jobs, the iconic co-founder of Apple. Jobs was known for his decisiveness, whether he was pushing for the development of the iPhone, a product that revolutionized the tech industry, or making the tough decision to pull the plug on products that weren't up to Apple's high standards. Despite facing intense pressure and competition, Jobs made these decisions with confidence, often acting swiftly and decisively. His ability to trust his instincts and make bold decisions is one of the key reasons Apple became the global powerhouse it is today. Jobs' approach to decision-making was not about making perfect choices at every turn. Rather, it was about having the courage to make decisions quickly, adjusting when necessary, and trusting that his vision and leadership would guide the company through uncertainty. Take, for example, the decision to transition Apple from a computer company to a more diversified tech company with products like the iPod, iPhone, and iPad. The move was risky, and many critics doubted its success. But Jobs made the decision quickly, acting decisively without waiting for perfect conditions. This is a hallmark of great leaders making tough choices with confidence, even when the risks are high and the outcomes are uncertain. The psychology of decisiveness is rooted in human nature. People respect those who take action and make decisions because it signals leadership, strength, and control. In any group dynamic, whether in a family, a business, or a political setting, those who can take charge and act quickly tend to rise to the top. This is not necessarily because their decisions are always correct, but because the act of decision-making shows that they are willing to take responsibility and act with purpose. The decisive person stands apart from those who hesitate or delay, sending the message that they are in command and capable of handling whatever challenges arise. Psychologically, humans are drawn to those who are decisive. In social settings, we respect individuals who know what they want and are not afraid to go after it. This decisiveness creates a sense of trust and stability. When people see a leader making quick decisions, they feel more secure because they know that direction is being established and progress is being made. In contrast, when decisions are delayed or avoided, it creates uncertainty and insecurity. People begin to question whether the leader is capable or whether they're uncertain about what to do next. This erodes trust and, ultimately, respect. A real-world example of how decisiveness leads to respect can be seen in the leadership styles of prominent figures, such as Winston Churchill during World War II. Churchill was known for his bold, decisive actions and his refusal to back down in the face of immense challenges. When Britain stood alone against Nazi Germany, Churchill made critical decisions quickly, whether it was rallying the British people with inspiring speeches or taking military actions that could determine the outcome of the war. His decisiveness, even in the face of overwhelming odds, earned him the respect of not only the British people, but also international leaders. His ability to act with confidence during one of the most trying times in history made him a symbol of leadership and strength. In contrast, indecisive leaders often struggle to gain the respect of their followers. Consider the difference between decisive leaders and those who cannot make up their minds. A leader who takes too long to make a decision or second-guesses their choices leaves their team in limbo, unsure of the direction they should take. This creates a culture of indecisiveness and inaction, which ultimately undermines the leader's authority. In the business world, indecisiveness can lead to missed opportunities and lack of progress. When a company's leadership team cannot decide on a clear strategy or vision, employees begin to lose confidence in their ability to succeed. On the other hand, a decisive leader who sets clear goals and takes immediate action instills a sense of purpose and direction among their team. Decisiveness is not just about making fast decisions. It is about making well-thought-out decisions quickly. Machiavelli emphasizes that leaders should not avoid danger, but calculate the risks and act with determination. This means that while a leader must be quick to act, they must also be mindful of the risks involved and make informed choices. The key to decisiveness is balancing speed with strategy, understanding that no decision is without risk, but that inaction or hesitation can often be the greater danger. Leaders like Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, have demonstrated this kind of decisiveness. Bezos was known for making swift decisions that sometimes seemed risky, but were grounded in his long-term vision for Amazon. His decision to move Amazon into cloud computing, despite initial resistance and skepticism, transformed Amazon into the dominant force it is today. Another important aspect of decisiveness is the willingness to make mistakes. Machiavelli warns that it is better to make mistakes out of ambition than out of laziness or indecisiveness. When a leader takes bold action, there is always the risk of failure. However, failing while taking action is far less damaging than failing to act at all. Making mistakes is a natural part of leadership, and the key is learning from those mistakes and adapting quickly. Leaders who are decisive and willing to take risks are not afraid of failure, because they understand that failure is part of the learning process and an opportunity to adjust and improve. Decisiveness also plays a crucial role in building respect in personal relationships. People respect those who know what they want and are clear about their intentions. This is particularly important in relationships where trust and confidence are key. When someone is indecisive or evasive in their interactions with others, it creates confusion and insecurity. Conversely, when someone is decisive and clear about their desires, boundaries, and needs, it fosters trust and respect. This principle applies in both personal and professional relationships, where decisiveness can strengthen bonds and build credibility. In conclusion, Machiavelli's teachings on decisiveness offer invaluable insight into how effective decision-making contributes to leadership and respect. Leaders who act quickly and confidently, despite the inherent risks, gain the respect of their followers. Whether it's in business, politics, or personal relationships, decisiveness signals strength, control, and a capacity to handle challenges. Examples like Steve Jobs, Winston Churchill, and Jeff Bezos show how decisive action can shape the course of history and elevate individuals to positions of great influence. In contrast, indecisiveness breeds uncertainty and weakens authority. Ultimately, those who embrace the power of decisiveness are more likely to gain the respect and admiration of others, ensuring their success as leaders in any arena. Machiavelli's concept of balancing fear and love is one of his most famous and often controversial ideas. In The Prince, he famously wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." At first glance, this may seem cold-hearted or even Machiavellian in its pursuit of control, but it offers deep insights into leadership, power, and human nature. Machiavelli's assertion suggests that fear, when used correctly, can be a more reliable tool for maintaining authority than love or affection. However, he also warns against crossing the line into hatred, as this can be just as detrimental to leadership as being overly lenient or excessively loved. The central idea behind this statement is that love is fleeting, but fear, when properly administered, can maintain control and secure loyalty. Love can be easily lost. People may stop loving you when things go wrong, when you fail to meet their expectations, or when circumstances change. On the other hand, fear, in Machiavelli's view, is more dependable. Fear is tied to authority and consequences. People are more likely to respect and obey someone they fear because they're concerned about the repercussions of not doing so. However, Machiavelli is not advocating for cruelty or tyranny. His argument is not about fostering hatred or resentment, but about using fear strategically as a means of ensuring that authority is respected and decisions are followed. One of the key dangers Machiavelli identifies in his works is the pursuit of being loved at all costs. While affection and admiration can certainly be valuable, seeking to be loved without regard for maintaining control can weaken a leader's position. When a leader is overly focused on being liked, they might become too lenient, forgiving, or overly generous, which can cause their authority to be undermined. Leaders who seek only to be loved often end up making compromises or showing weakness, which diminishes their ability to make tough decisions or enforce necessary rules. This dynamic is evident in leadership examples throughout history, especially in modern organizations. A boss who is more concerned with being liked by their employees than with maintaining clear boundaries and authority risks, creating an environment where productivity suffers, and expectations become unclear. In workplaces where leaders focus too much on being beloved, employees may take advantage of the leader's leniency, becoming complacent or unproductive. Without respect for authority, there is a lack of accountability. This ultimately leads to a loss of control. While kindness and appreciation are crucial qualities of any good leader, they must be balanced with firmness and consistency to ensure that respect remains intact. In contrast, a leader who finds a balance between love and fear, someone who can be kind and compassionate, but also firm when necessary, commands both respect and loyalty. This type of leader is able to show appreciation for employees' hard work and contributions while still enforcing standards and holding people accountable. For instance, a good boss doesn't shy away from giving constructive criticism or addressing issues directly, but they also make sure to recognize and reward their employees for their achievements. This approach creates an atmosphere where people feel valued, but also understand that there are consequences for not meeting expectations. It's a balance that ensures both productivity and loyalty. Consider a high-level executive at a successful company who is known for both setting clear expectations and showing empathy toward employees. When things go wrong, this leader is firm in addressing the issues, but they do so in a way that is fair and constructive, without being harsh or punitive. Their employees may fear the consequences of underperformance, but they also appreciate the respect they are shown when they meet the standards set for them. This combination of fear and love creates a productive, positive environment where the leader can maintain control while also fostering a loyal and engaged team. Machiavelli's statement also has significant implications for personal relationships. In any relationship, whether with family, friends, or partners, setting boundaries and maintaining respect is crucial. If one person is constantly seeking approval or trying to make everyone happy, they risk losing their ability to stand up for themselves or enforce limits. This is where the balance between fear and love comes into play. Setting boundaries is an act of both love and fear. It shows respect for oneself and for others by ensuring that personal limits are respected. It also creates an environment where people understand the consequences of crossing those boundaries. For example, in a romantic relationship, one partner may continually agree to things they don't want to do, simply to keep the peace and avoid confrontation. Over time, this can lead to resentment and frustration. However, if the partner learns to set clear boundaries and says no when necessary, it not only builds respect within the relationship, but also maintains the balance of power. Setting limits doesn't mean being cruel or unloving. It means maintaining self-respect and ensuring that both partners are heard and valued. Similarly, in parent-child relationships, many parents struggle with the balance between being loving and being authoritative. Children may love their parents, but if those parents are too lenient, the children may not respect them or take their rules seriously. Parents who balance affection with firm boundaries are more likely to raise children who understand the importance of responsibility and respect. The consistency of the parents' actions combining care with firmness teaches children about both the value of love and the necessity of authority. Machiavelli also warns against being hated. While fear can be a useful tool for leadership, hatred is a far more dangerous emotion. Hatred breeds rebellion and defiance. It can undermine a leader's power more swiftly than any other factor. A leader who is despised may see their authority crumble, even if they have effectively instilled fear in their subjects. For this reason, Machiavelli emphasizes the importance of maintaining a balance, being firm and authoritative, but avoiding cruelty or unfairness that could lead to hatred. In a business environment, for example, a leader who is overly punitive or harsh with employees may invoke fear. But if their actions are perceived as unjust or unfair, they will soon find that the fear turns into resentment. Employees will not only stop respecting the leader, but they may also begin to undermine their authority or even sabotage their efforts. On the other hand, a leader who is too lenient may invite complacency and a lack of accountability. The key, as Machiavelli notes, is to avoid extremes. Leaders should ensure that their actions remain consistent and fair, striking the balance between being loved and feared so that they maintain authority without breeding hatred. Consistency is crucial to maintaining this balance. A leader who is inconsistent, sometimes lenient, sometimes harsh, creates confusion and erodes respect. Employees, family members, or followers who are unsure of what to expect will struggle to trust the leader, and the lack of predictability weakens the leader's position. A consistent approach, however, allows people to understand what is expected of them and what consequences follow when those expectations are not met. When a leader is consistently firm, fair, and just, they inspire both respect and loyalty. This consistency doesn't mean being inflexible or unyielding in every situation, but it means standing firm on principles and values while being fair and thoughtful in the application of rules. Machiavelli's thoughts on fear and love reveal a nuanced understanding of human nature and the dynamics of power. Leaders who strive only to be loved may appear weak and ineffective, while those who focus exclusively on fear risk alienating those they lead. The true art of leadership lies in balancing both, by acting with strength and decisiveness when necessary, while also demonstrating fairness, empathy, and understanding. A leader can create an environment where respect is earned and loyalty is secured. Whether in the workplace, in politics, or in personal relationships, understanding and mastering the balance between fear and love is essential for building authority and maintaining control. Machiavelli's wisdom remains as relevant today as it was in the Renaissance, offering a timeless guide for effective leadership. In leadership, one of the most critical traits a person can have is the ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Machiavelli's teachings offer powerful insight into this notion, particularly through his famous metaphor of the lion and the fox. In The Prince, he asserts that a ruler must embody both the strength of the lion and the cleverness of the fox. The lion, representing brute strength and authority, is needed to assert power and defend against enemies, while the fox symbolizes wisdom, cunning, and adaptability, essential for recognizing traps and surviving in shifting situations. This duality of strength and cleverness speaks to the importance of adaptability in leadership, showing that while leaders need to be firm and resolute when necessary, they must also be able to adjust their strategies based on the challenges they face. Machiavelli's metaphor underscores the complexity of effective leadership. It is not enough to simply rely on force or fear to maintain power. A leader who is inflexible or overly reliant on one approach will quickly find themselves overwhelmed when the landscape changes. In contrast, a leader who combines strength with adaptability is well equipped to navigate challenges, turning potential obstacles into opportunities. Adaptability doesn't mean abandoning principles or values. Rather, it means adjusting one's methods to fit new realities, demonstrating an awareness of the world around them and an ability to evolve with it. This concept applies not only to politics and governance, but also to business, personal relationships, and every aspect of life where leadership is required. Throughout history, some of the most successful leaders have been those who understood the necessity of adaptability and knew when to shift their approach in response to changing circumstances. One of the most notable examples in modern business is Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. When Bezos first launched Amazon, it was a humble online bookstore. However, he quickly recognized the potential for e-commerce to grow beyond books, and he adapted Amazon's business model to include everything from electronics to groceries. This shift wasn't simply about expanding the product catalog, it was a calculated move to stay relevant in a constantly changing market. Bezos knew that the internet was evolving rapidly, and the key to long-term success was to continuously innovate and diversify Amazon's offerings. This adaptability allowed Amazon to grow into one of the most valuable companies in the world, revolutionizing not only retail, but also cloud computing, entertainment, and logistics. The concept of adaptability is not just about surviving. It's also about thriving in an environment of constant change. The global marketplace today is more dynamic than ever before. Companies that fail to adapt to new technologies, customer expectations, and market trends quickly fall behind. Consider the example of Blockbuster, the once dominant video rental chain. Blockbuster's failure to recognize and adapt to the rise of digital streaming and online rentals led to its downfall. In contrast, companies like Netflix, which initially started as a DVD rental service, were able to pivot quickly and capitalize on the potential of streaming. Netflix adapted its business model to meet the evolving needs of consumers, eventually changing the way people watch television and movies. The ability to change direction when necessary, while maintaining a clear vision for the future, is a key lesson in leadership. Adaptability in leadership is also crucial when it comes to managing teams. In any organization, leadership styles must evolve to suit the culture, challenges, and people involved. A leader who is stuck in outdated methods or rigid in their approach will struggle to engage their team effectively. For instance, consider the shift many companies have made toward more flexible work arrangements, particularly in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Leaders who were initially hesitant to embrace remote work had to quickly adapt to the new reality. And those who did so with confidence and clarity were able to maintain team cohesion and productivity. On the other hand, leaders who failed to adapt, who insisted on traditional office-based work, may have faced greater challenges in maintaining employee satisfaction and engagement. Adapting to new situations is not only about embracing technology or business trends, it also applies to the way we interact with people. In personal relationships, Adaptability is essential for maintaining healthy dynamics. As people change and grow, the ways in which we relate to them must also evolve. This could mean adjusting communication styles, re-evaluating expectations, or learning to compromise when situations change. For instance, in a romantic relationship, one partner might experience significant changes in their career, such as a promotion that requires frequent travel. A partner who is adaptable would understand this shift and adjust their expectations, allowing space for the other person's personal growth while maintaining the relationship's emotional connection. On the other hand, a partner who resists this change might struggle to maintain the relationship, as inflexibility could lead to resentment or misunderstandings. Adapting to shifts in the workplace is equally important in personal career growth. People who are adaptable in their careers often find greater success, as they are more willing to embrace new opportunities, learn new skills, and take on challenges. Career transitions are inevitable, and those who successfully adapt to new roles or industries often have a leg up in today's competitive job market. For example, many workers in industries like retail or hospitality had to pivot to new fields as the global economy changed. The willingness to embrace online learning, upskill in new areas, and transition to new job markets are signs of adaptability that can lead to success in uncertain times. In addition to personal and professional benefits, adaptability also plays a key role in the broader social landscape. Consider the impact of globalization and the interconnectedness of the world today. Leaders must be able to adapt to global shifts in culture, economics, and politics in order to succeed on an international stage. Leaders who are rigid in their thinking or unwilling to embrace global trends can become irrelevant. For instance, companies that are successful in the United States but fail to adapt to the cultural and economic demands of international markets can struggle to expand. In contrast, businesses that are flexible in their approach, understanding and respecting cultural differences while adapting to local needs are far more likely to succeed globally. Machiavelli's emphasis on adaptability underscores the importance of recognizing that change is inevitable and that the key to success lies in a leader's ability to respond to it effectively. Leaders must understand that strength alone is not enough to guarantee success. Just as the lion may be strong, it is the fox that recognizes the traps and changes its course to avoid them. In today's rapidly changing world, the ability to adapt is not just a survival mechanism, it is a crucial factor for long-term success. The adaptability of a leader to new circumstances, whether in business, personal relationships, or global affairs, will determine whether they remain relevant or become obsolete. The lesson here is clear. While strength and authority are vital, adaptability is the secret weapon that allows leaders to thrive amidst change. For individuals, organizations, and even entire nations, those who embrace adaptability and change their strategies accordingly are the ones who will maintain power, influence, and success in a constantly evolving world. Just as a leader must be able to adapt to market conditions, so too must they be able to respond to personal and societal shifts. This kind of flexibility, both strategic and personal, ensures that a leader is always prepared for the unexpected and that they can continue to guide their followers toward success, no matter how the world around them changes. Niccolò Machiavelli's perspective on generosity and leadership is both pragmatic and strategic, grounded in his broader philosophy about power and influence. In The Prince, Machiavelli famously wrote, "It is wiser to have a reputation for meanness which brings reproach without hatred, than to be compelled, through seeking a reputation for liberality, to incur a name for rapacity which begets reproach with hatred." This statement encapsulates his belief that excessive generosity can be just as dangerous as being outright cruel or despotic. Machiavelli's advice reveals a deep understanding of human nature, particularly in how generosity, if not carefully measured, can diminish respect, undermine authority, and lead to exploitation. At first glance, Machiavelli's approach to generosity may seem counterintuitive. In modern society, Generosity is often seen as a virtue, something that leaders and individuals are encouraged to practice freely in their relationships, both professional and personal. However, Machiavelli challenges this common view by suggesting that generosity, when exercised too liberally, can lead to negative consequences. According to Machiavelli, the problem with excessive generosity is that it can breed a sense of entitlement in others, diminishing the leader's authority and respect. It is a fine line that leaders must walk. Generosity should be strategic and thoughtful, given only when it aligns with long-term goals and maintains the integrity of the leader's position. Machiavelli's warning against indiscriminate generosity is rooted in his understanding of human psychology. People, in general, tend to take advantage of those who are overly generous. This can be seen in both personal relationships and professional settings. In a workplace, for example, a manager who rewards employees with bonuses or praise too freely might find that their team begins to expect rewards for minimal effort. This can quickly lead to a culture of complacency, where employees no longer feel motivated to perform at their best because they know that the rewards will come regardless of their contributions. In such a scenario, the leader's generosity is no longer seen as a positive quality. It is perceived as weakness, and over time, it erodes the leader's ability to maintain respect and authority. Machiavelli suggests that it is better for a leader to be perceived as somewhat mean or stingy than to be known for excessive generosity. The reason for this is simple. By being cautious with generosity, a leader ensures that their actions maintain a sense of control and purpose. A leader who rewards only those who deserve it, or who gives only in situations where it is strategically advantageous, will command more respect than someone who constantly gives without discernment. The key to this approach is the concept of balanced. Generosity should not be withheld entirely, but it should be used judiciously, in a way that maintains the integrity of the leader's authority and prevents exploitation. The dangers of excessive generosity are not limited to workplace dynamics. They extend to personal relationships as well. In friendships or romantic partnerships, being overly generous can lead to imbalances, where one party gives more than the other without seeing a fair return. This can breed resentment and undermine the relationship. People may begin to take the other person for granted, assuming that they will always give without asking for anything in return. This dynamic is unhealthy, and over time, it can lead to feelings of frustration and bitterness. Machiavelli's advice is clear. Generosity must be measured, with careful attention to the needs and contributions of others, so that it is appreciated rather than expected. So, how can generosity be practiced in a measured and strategic way? The key is to reward exceptional efforts rather than distributing rewards indiscriminately. A leader who gives generously only when it is deserved, not simply to garner affection or approval, will build a reputation for fairness and strength. For instance, a manager who recognizes employees for their exceptional performance, such as exceeding sales goals or completing a major project ahead of schedule, is demonstrating generosity that is both meaningful and strategic. This kind of generosity encourages high performance and fosters a culture of excellence, as employees know that their hard work will be noticed and rewarded. By giving rewards selectively, the leader also ensures that the rewards retain their value and do not become diluted by overuse. An example of this in the corporate world can be seen in the way many successful companies use bonuses or recognition programs. Instead of handing out bonuses to every employee, companies often reserve these rewards for employees who go above and beyond their duties. This not only maintains the value of the reward, but also motivates employees to strive for excellence. When bonuses are handed out too freely, they lose their impact and become just another part of the job, rather than a special recognition for outstanding work. The same principle applies to leadership. In general, generosity must be strategic in order to maintain its value and impact. Furthermore, the balance between generosity and discernment is crucial. Leaders must be able to assess when generosity is appropriate and when it could be detrimental to their position. For example, A leader who constantly gives in to the demands of others may find themselves in a position where their authority is undermined. This is particularly true when the generosity is not reciprocated or when the leader's actions are perceived as indulgent. In such cases, the leader risks becoming a figure who is taken advantage of, rather than a respected authority figure. In contrast, a leader who is discerning about when to give and who does so in a way that is meaningful and calculated will maintain their position of power and respect. The practice of measured generosity is also important in maintaining relationships of trust. Generosity, when given too freely, can sometimes create a sense of entitlement in others, making them feel that they are owed something simply because they have received a gift or reward. This can lead to resentment or a sense of dissatisfaction, as people begin to take their leader's generosity for granted. On the other hand, generosity that is given thoughtfully, with an understanding of the other person's needs and contributions, fosters a sense of genuine appreciation. When people receive something they truly value, whether it's recognition, a bonus, or even a simple gesture of kindness, they are more likely to respect and trust the giver. This trust is essential for building long-term, meaningful relationships. Machiavelli's warning against excessive generosity also applies to the leader's ability to maintain authority. Leaders who are too generous can appear weak because their actions suggest a lack of control. When a leader constantly gives, they may be seen as seeking approval or trying to win favor. This undermines their authority and diminishes the respect they would otherwise command. In contrast, leaders who give strategically, with purpose and intent, project strength and control. Their generosity is a tool that reinforces their position rather than diminishing it. In summary, Machiavelli's take on generosity teaches us that generosity should never be an automatic response or a means of seeking approval. Instead, generosity should be strategic, measured, and purposeful, given only when it is deserved or when it aligns with the leader's long-term goals. Leaders who are too generous risk losing their authority, as their actions may be perceived as indulgence or weakness. Leaders who practice measured generosity, however, build trust, foster respect, and motivate others to perform at their best. By balancing generosity with discernment, leaders can maintain their power and influence while also fostering positive relationships and achieving long-term success. Generosity, in this context, becomes not just a virtue, but a calculated strategy for reinforcing leadership and ensuring that the respect and loyalty of others are earned and maintained. In Niccolò Machiavelli's philosophy, self-reliance stands as a cornerstone of personal power and success. His assertion, "He who is the cause of another becoming powerful is the cause of his own destruction," underscores a critical insight into human nature and the dynamics of power. Machiavelli's concept of self-reliance is not just about being independent for the sake of pride or ego, but about safeguarding one's stability and longevity by relying on one's own abilities, resources, and judgment rather than on external sources. When you empower others or depend too much on them for your success or security, you ultimately expose yourself to potential risks. This idea is a warning about the dangers of vulnerability and dependency, and a call to take full control of one's destiny. Machiavelli's philosophy pushes for the development of inner strength and capability. The more a person relies on others, the more they are at the mercy of those individuals, their whims, their decisions, and their failures. A person who allows themselves to be overly dependent on others becomes susceptible to being manipulated or, worse, abandoned when circumstances change. In contrast, building self-reliance means securing your own resources, decisions, and direction, creating a foundation that is unshakable, regardless of external circumstances. It's about avoiding the pitfall of becoming reliant on anyone else for success or survival, whether it's a superior at work, a family member, or a political ally. One key aspect of self-reliance is the recognition that personal strength comes from within. It doesn't come from the power granted by others, nor does it rely on the favor of those around you. Instead, true strength lies in the ability to adapt, solve problems, and make decisions based on your own judgment and abilities. This concept is as vital today as it was in Machiavelli's time, especially in a world where many individuals, organizations, and even nations are reliant on external forces. Whether it's technology, social media validation, or even societal structures, people are often looking outward for confirmation or support rather than turning inward to develop their own capabilities. Take the example of a successful entrepreneur like Elon Musk, who, despite his many collaborators and teams, is a prime example of self-reliance in the modern world. Musk's success has largely been driven by his personal vision, tenacity, and the ability to innovate, even when faced with criticism and failure. While Musk has built powerful companies like Tesla and SpaceX with the help of talented employees, the essence of his strength has always come from his deep belief in his own ideas and his ability to make them a reality. His self-reliance in vision, execution, and decision-making has propelled him into the ranks of global leaders in tech and business. Musk's reliance on his own strength, his ability to pivot, innovate, and continually push forward in the face of adversity is a perfect example of the Machiavellian philosophy at work in the modern world. For many people today, however, building self-reliance can be a difficult challenge, especially in a world that increasingly encourages dependence on external forces. In the workplace, people often find themselves leaning heavily on managers or teams, relying on the structure provided by the company, or seeking validation from external sources, such as peers or clients. But true self-reliance requires going beyond simply performing well within a predefined system. It means developing your own skills, making independent decisions, and creating your own path forward, without waiting for permission or external validation. Improving personal skills and expertise is one of the first steps in building self-reliance. In any field, whether it's business, arts, science, or even personal development, individuals who constantly refine their craft and broaden their knowledge become less reliant on others to succeed. By continuously learning and improving, they position themselves as capable, independent thinkers. For instance, think about an athlete who spends hours training on their own outside of formal practice or competitions. The athlete who focuses on improving their technique, learning new strategies, and understanding their own strengths and weaknesses becomes a force to be reckoned with. This mindset can be applied to any field, whether you're an entrepreneur, a creative professional, or even someone in a traditional job role. Similarly, in today's fast-paced world, continuous learning is more important than ever. With advancements in technology and constant shifts in the global economy, the need to adapt is paramount. Those who focus on developing new skills and staying ahead of trends will not only have a competitive advantage, but will also increase their sense of independence. This reduces the dependency on others for success because it gives individuals the tools and confidence to navigate challenges on their own. Moreover, in a world that constantly demands innovation, those who rely on their own growth and judgment are better prepared to lead, rather than follow, the pack. Building a strong support system is another crucial element of self-reliance, though it might seem contradictory at first. After all, isn't self-reliance about not depending on others? The key here is understanding that a support system is different from a crutch. A crutch is something that makes you dependent, whereas a support system is made up of individuals who inspire, challenge, and help you reach your potential, but who do not take over your decisions or drive. For example, in business, a leader can rely on trusted colleagues or mentors for advice and feedback, but ultimately the decision-making process should be their own. A person's success may be helped by having a network of people who share their values, aspirations, and goals, but the responsibility to act and decide still rests with the individual. A strong support system doesn't mean asking others for solutions or answers, but surrounding yourself with people who challenge you to think critically and act decisively. Friends, family, and colleagues who share your vision or values can provide emotional and intellectual backing, but it's important to maintain a sense of personal accountability. This is especially true in leadership roles, where a person may need to make tough calls based on their own judgment, not solely on the advice or expectations of others. A leader who builds their support system wisely is one who understands the balance between listening to others and trusting their own judgment. Perhaps one of the most important elements of self-reliance in the modern world is financial independence. Financial independence gives individuals the freedom to make decisions based on what is best for them, not out of necessity or desperation. People who are financially independent are less likely to fall prey to manipulation or exploitation, and they are more likely to make decisions that align with their own values and goals. For example, when individuals are financially dependent on an employer or a family member, they may feel pressured to compromise their principles or take on obligations that are not in their best interest. However, someone who is financially self-sufficient has the flexibility to pursue their passions, take calculated risks, and make choices that are rooted in their personal vision for their life. Machiavelli's teachings on self-reliance underscore the importance of building a foundation that is independent and strong, so that no one else has the power to destabilize or control your success. In the modern world, this might involve diversifying income streams, investing wisely, or learning the financial skills needed to secure long-term stability. Financial independence also allows individuals to navigate the uncertainties of life with greater confidence, knowing that they are not beholden to anyone else's resources or decisions. It is an empowering feeling to know that you can make your own choices without relying on others to fund or support them. Personal accountability is the final piece of the self-reliance puzzle. When individuals take responsibility for their actions, they demonstrate maturity and strength. Personal accountability means owning up to mistakes, learning from failures, and being proactive in fixing problems. This trait is especially important in leadership roles, where a lack of accountability can quickly erode trust and respect. Leaders who are willing to admit when they are wrong and take steps to correct their course are viewed as more reliable and credible. Accountability goes hand in hand with self-reliance because it forces individuals to rely on their own judgment and actions, rather than shifting blame or depending on others to solve their problems. The importance of self-reliance extends beyond the individual level. It can impact communities and organizations as well. Societies that encourage self-reliance and independence tend to be more resilient and adaptable because their members are empowered to make decisions and take action based on their own capabilities. Countries that foster self-reliance in their citizens are less vulnerable to external influences, and their citizens are more likely to lead successful, fulfilling lives. In conclusion, Machiavelli's philosophy on self-reliance provides valuable lessons for personal growth, leadership, and success. By focusing on developing one's skills, building a supportive yet independent network, and achieving financial and personal accountability, individuals can create a solid foundation for long-term stability and success. Relying on oneself rather than on others to determine one's fate is not only a path to personal freedom, but also a way to ensure that respect and authority are firmly established. Just as Machiavelli's wisdom has withstood the test of time, the value of self-reliance remains as crucial today as it was during his era. Machiavelli's principles from The Prince offer a timeless blueprint for understanding leadership, power dynamics, and personal success. His lessons on perception, decisiveness, the balance of fear and love, adaptability, generosity, and self-reliance provide valuable insights into how individuals can navigate the complexities of modern life. These ideas, although rooted in the political realities of the Renaissance, are deeply relevant today, whether in the workplace, in personal relationships, or in one's approach to self-development and career success. Integrating Machiavelli's principles into daily life can help individuals become more effective leaders, build stronger relationships, and achieve greater personal and professional success. One of the most crucial principles that Machiavelli emphasizes is the power of perception. According to Machiavelli, how others perceive you is often more important than who you truly are. In today's world, Perception plays a massive role in both professional and personal success. People form opinions based on what they see, hear, and experience, often drawing conclusions before ever truly understanding a person's character or abilities. This idea is especially true in the age of social media, where curated images and personas shape how we are viewed by others. To apply this principle effectively, it's important to be mindful of the image you present to the world. Whether it's the confidence you project in meetings, the way you present yourself online, or how you engage with others in social settings. Managing perception can significantly influence the respect and opportunities you receive. For example, think about leaders in business who project confidence, even in challenging circumstances. A CEO who handles crises with composure and decisiveness is likely to earn more respect and trust from employees, investors, and clients. By maintaining a controlled and confident exterior, even in the face of uncertainty, the leader conveys strength and stability. Similarly, in personal relationships, projecting confidence without arrogance helps to build respect. When people perceive you as someone who is competent, reliable, and composed, they are more likely to trust your judgment and value your input. Decisiveness is another core principle in Machiavelli's philosophy. The ability to make decisions quickly and confidently is critical in today's fast-paced world. Leaders who hesitate or delay decisions can lose their authority and respect, as those around them begin to question their ability to lead. In contrast, a decisive leader, one who takes swift, thoughtful action, instills a sense of confidence and direction within their team. This is particularly important in business, where the speed of decision-making can make the difference between success and failure. For instance, in the tech industry, companies like Apple and Google thrive on decisiveness, as they operate in an environment where being slow to adapt can lead to missed opportunities. The ability to make bold decisions, whether about product development, market strategy, or company direction, can propel a company to success, while indecision can result in stagnation and missed chances. The same principle applies in personal relationships, whether in family dynamics, friendships, or romantic partnerships. Being decisive helps to avoid unnecessary confusion and miscommunication. When you take a stand, make clear choices, and stick to them, others are more likely to respect your convictions. Conversely, someone who constantly wavers or avoids making decisions often creates uncertainty and frustration among others. By being clear, confident, and quick in your decisions, you demonstrate leadership and reliability, qualities that are universally respected. Machiavelli's teaching on the balance between fear and love is perhaps one of the most controversial yet insightful aspects of his philosophy. He argues that while it is ideal for a leader to be both feared and loved, it is often difficult to achieve both, and if one must choose, it is safer to be feared than loved. This principle, when applied today, suggests that a leader, whether in business or in personal life, should establish authority and respect, even if it requires tough decisions that may not always be popular. However, Machiavelli also warns against being hated, as hatred can lead to rebellion and a loss of power. The key is to balance strength and fairness, firmness and compassion, to maintain control without becoming despotic. In modern leadership, this balance can be seen in the approach taken by successful managers who can be both approachable and assertive. A good boss is one who knows when to be firm, set boundaries, and enforce consequences, but also knows when to show appreciation and care. In personal relationships, too, this balance is crucial. Being too lenient can lead to a lack of respect, while being overly strict can lead to resentment. The ability to find this balance, combining kindness with authority, is what enables strong, healthy relationships that are built on mutual respect. Adaptability, as Machiavelli suggests, is essential for success in a constantly changing world. The ability to adapt to shifting circumstances, whether in business, politics, or personal life, allows individuals to remain relevant and effective. The metaphor of the lion and the fox's strength and cunning is a reminder that leaders must be versatile and ready to adjust their strategies when necessary. This adaptability is especially important in today's rapidly evolving work environments, where industries are constantly shifting and new technologies and trends emerge almost daily. A good example of adaptability in the business world is how companies like Netflix have evolved over time. Netflix started as a DVD rental service, but quickly adapted to the rise of digital streaming. By recognizing the potential of online content delivery, they shifted their business model to stay ahead of competitors and meet changing consumer demands. Similarly, businesses that can adapt to economic downturns, technological advancements, or shifting customer needs are the ones that thrive. The ability to pivot when necessary is a vital skill for leaders in all fields. In personal life, adaptability allows people to navigate the challenges that arise as circumstances change. Whether it's dealing with a sudden life event, adjusting to a new job, or managing evolving relationships, those who can adapt to the new reality with flexibility and resilience are more likely to maintain their well-being and success. This principle speaks to the importance of being open to change, embracing new opportunities, and being willing to let go of outdated ideas or strategies that no longer serve you. Generosity, according to Machiavelli, should be measured and strategic. While generosity is a virtue, it can also be a double-edged sword if practiced recklessly. Machiavelli warns that excessive generosity can breed entitlement and diminish respect, as people come to expect rewards for minimal effort. Instead, generosity should be given thoughtfully, with a clear purpose and when it is deserved. In leadership, this means rewarding exceptional performance, not indulging mediocrity. In personal relationships, it means giving when it truly makes a difference and not as a way to seek approval or avoid conflict. Leaders who practice measured generosity are able to motivate others while maintaining authority. For example, a manager who rewards employees for going above and beyond, rather than handing out praise indiscriminately, fosters a culture of excellence. Similarly, in personal relationships, giving strategically ensures that your generosity is appreciated rather than expected, whether it's giving time, resources, or emotional support. Practicing generosity in a measured way helps to maintain respect and reinforces your authority in a relationship. Finally, self-reliance is one of the most important principles in Machiavelli's philosophy. He believed that relying on others for power or success inevitably leads to one's downfall. Building your own strength, whether through personal development, financial independence, or decision-making, is key to achieving lasting success. In today's world, self-reliance is more crucial than ever, as individuals and organizations face constant challenges and uncertainty. People who rely too heavily on external sources for validation or success are at risk of losing control over their own fate. To build self-reliance, individuals must focus on developing their own skills and expertise, creating a strong support system of like-minded people, and striving for financial independence. By taking responsibility for their own success and not depending on others to provide the foundation for their achievements, they ensure that they remain in control of their destiny. Self-reliance is empowering. It allows individuals to act according to their own values and make decisions that align with their goals. Machiavelli's principles provide a comprehensive framework for leadership, personal growth, and success. By integrating his lessons on perception, decisiveness, balance of fear and love, adaptability, generosity, and self-reliance into our daily lives, we can become more effective leaders, build stronger relationships, and achieve greater personal success. These principles offer a powerful guide for navigating the complexities of modern life, where authority, influence, and respect are earned through action, adaptability, and strategic thinking. Machiavelli's timeless wisdom continues to provide invaluable insights for anyone seeking to command respect and achieve success in an ever-changing world. By reflecting on these principles and applying them thoughtfully, we can enhance our personal and professional relationships and ultimately shape our own path to success. Now that you've got a solid grasp on Machiavelli's most powerful lessons, it's time to start putting them into practice. Think about how these ideas can reshape your leadership, your personal life, and your career, whether it's through mastering your public image, making bold decisions, or finding the perfect balance between being loved and feared. These strategies are all about taking control, staying ahead, and shaping your future with purpose. So here's my challenge to you. Start applying just one of these principles this week and see the difference it makes. Will you be more decisive in your work or personal life? Maybe you will use perception to your advantage and influence how others see you. Whatever it is, take action, and I guarantee you'll notice a shift in how people respect you. If this video helped you gain a new perspective, make sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who could benefit from it, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video packed with strategies like these. And don't forget, if you want to show your support, click the super thanks button below. Your contributions allow us to continue making valuable content for you. Remember, the world is full of opportunities for those who know how to lead, adapt, and earn respect. Apply these principles, and you'll be well on your way to mastering leadership in every aspect of your life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.